Man, it's great to be back home. Hello? Oh, hey Dad, what's going on? Oh, you mean Count CGI? Oh? How? Okay, and, what sequel would that be? Okay, that seems like a decent idea. Thank you. Goodbye. Hey there, everybody. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Oral Reports. Now today, let's talk about Pixar's animated film from 2006, Cars. While traveling to California to race against the King and Chick Hicks for the Piston Cup Championship, Lightning McQueen becomes lost after falling out of his trailer and crashes into a rundown town called Radiator Springs, causing tons of damage to the road. In order to make up for what he did, Lightning is sentenced to community service. While there, he slowly befriends the town's odd residents, including Sally, Doc Hudson, and Mater. When it comes time for him to leave town, the championship is no longer his top priority. Now, in my opinion, this was an okay movie, though my dad loved it more than I did, since he's a sucker when it comes to certain vehicle models, including the Italian Cinquecento. I give this film a 71% out of 100. The animation was good, the story was okay, and several characters I really enjoyed. As for Paul Newman's last film role before his death, he was great. But then, in 2011, coming off the epicness of Toy Story 3, Pixar gave us a sequel known as Cars 2. In this film, star race car Lightning McQueen and his tow truck buddy Mater have their share of adventures together, but nothing like what they experience when they head overseas for the first ever World Grand Prix race. While Lightning has his eye on the road to the championship, Mater takes a detour into international espionage, where he meets British master spy Finn McMissile and stunning spy in training Holly Shiftwell. Okay, now, I understand that several folks out there hate this movie, but I think it's not that bad. I mean, sure, the story is very cliched, but I like the animation. The world landmarks like Japan, Paris, Italy, and London, and the action scenes were really badass. I give it a 69% out of 100. Then, a year later, the Disney Imagineers gave us Cars Land at Disney California Adventure, which made guests feel like they were walking into Radiator Springs. I mean, sure, most of it was shops and restaurants, but the three rides like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, Radiator Springs Racers, and the recent Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters are really fun. But, sure enough, coming off the splash-tacular Finding Dory from last year, Pixar gave us another Cars movie. But is it better than the last two Cars films? Well, let's find out. Released on June 16th, 2017, the movie is Cars 3. So, let's start our engines, folks. Blindsided by a new generation of blazing fast cars, the legendary Lightning McQueen finds himself pushed out of the sport that he loves. Hoping to get back in the game, he turns to Cruz Ramirez, an eager young technician who has her own plans for winning. With inspiration from the fabulous Hudson Hornet and a few unexpected turns, number 95 prepares to compete in the Piston Cup Racing's biggest state yet. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, this film was absolutely spectacular. It's like they took the first movie and added in more to it. But before I get ahead of myself, let's move on to Mustang notes. On August 17, 2013, Michael Wallace told radio listeners that Cars 3 would go back to Route 66 and will also include Route 99. At the Disney stockholder meeting on March 18, 2014, Disney CEO Bob Iger announced that Pixar had begun pre-production on Cars 3. In October 2014, Pixar's Chief Creative Officer, John Lasseter, revealed at the Tokyo International Film Festival that the film will feature a tribute to his friend Hayao Miyazaki's film, The Castle of Cagliostro, in a form of an old Citroën 2CV. Production for Cars 3 began in summer 2014. In October 8, 2015, the film's release date was announced to be June 16, 2017. On June 10, 2016, during an interview, John Lasseter, director of the previous Cars films, promised a very emotional story, similar in tone to the first movie. Now, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, since this is Pixar animation we're talking about, the animation has gotten a lot better. To me, the vehicle characters look well detailed, and the destinations that McQueen goes to on the way to Florida are great too. Not just Radiator Springs, but the Rusty's Racing Center, the beach, the Demolition Derby, even Thomasville. Also, the technology featured in this movie is very high-tech compared to the first two Cars films. I also think that this film makes a better tribute to Doc Hudson compared to that little scene in the beginning of Cars 2. Speaking of which, there is absolutely nothing in this movie that resembles Cars 2 at all. But that doesn't mean it never happened. I mean, if you guys go to Cars Land and California Adventure, you might find lots of references from that film. Now, the reason why I say this movie makes a better tribute to Doc Hudson is because they include, well, shall we say, flashbacks of Doc training Lightning, and of course, voice archives of Paul Newman. There are also a couple scenes that were really intense in this movie, like when Lightning had a blowout and crashed, and that Demolition Derby track scene, which they called a Crazy 8. You know, nowadays, every time I hear the word Crazy 8, it makes me think of my role as Crazy 8 number 1, aka Joker from Alice One Cat's Tale, back in late spring 2015. Anyway, now that we got Mustang notes out of the way, let's talk about the voice actors in this movie. Our main character, Lightning McQueen, is once again voiced by Owen Wilson. Best known from films like Armageddon, Around the World in 80 Days, Night at the Museum trilogy, and of course, Freebirds. Now, Lightning is a legendary Piston Cup veteran who lives in Radiator Springs. He's a racer for Rusty's. In this movie, after winning 3 more Piston Cups and crashing thanks to Jackson's Storm, McQueen seeks help from new trainer Cruz Ramirez in order to learn some new tricks for challenging rookies like Storm in the Florida 500. Lightning's friends are as follows: Mater, voiced by Larry the Cable Guy; Sally Carrera, voiced by Bonnie Hunt; Luigi, voiced by Tony Shalhoub; Guido, voiced by Guido Coroni. Fillmore, voiced by Lloyd Sher. Sarge, voiced by Paul Dooley. Ramon, voiced by Cheech Marin. Flo, voiced by Jennifer Lewis. Sheriff, voiced by Michael Wallace. Lizzie, voiced by Katherine Helmond. And Mac, voiced by Pixar's good luck charm, John Ratzenberger. Now let's talk about the new characters in the movie, starting with Lightning's trainer and technician, Cruz Ramirez. Voiced by Cristela Alonso, who is best known from the ABC sitcom Cristela, and last year she voiced in the foul Angry Birds movie. To me, Cruz makes a great racing trainer, and she has an optimistic, fierce, and determined attitude. But for a long time, she's been wanting to be a racer herself, because she's looked up to Lightning. Next we have Lightning's new racing rival, Jackson Storm, voiced by Armie Hammer, who has been in films like Mirror Mirror, The Social Network, and of course, The Lone Ranger. Jackson is the face of the newer next generation racers and threatens McQueen's racing career. Storm's quiet confidence and cocky demeanor are off-putting, but his unmatched speed threatens to redefine the sport of racing. He is trained on high-tech simulators that are programmed to perfect technique and maximize velocity. And to me, these things, including his model design, makes me think of some of the stuff from Test Track at Epcot and Walt Disney World. Plus, the things he says to Lightning and Cruz can be very discouraging. Another character I need to talk about is Smokey, voiced by Chris Cooper, who has been in films like The Muppets and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Smokey was Doc Hudson's former mechanic and crew chief, who helps Lightning McQueen train for the Florida 500. At one point, Smokey informs McQueen that while he may not be as fast as Jackson Storm, he can be smarter than him. I also think his coaching technique is very, clever and inspirational. Anyway, let's move on to my final words. Overall, Cars 3 is a great movie to come from Pixar, and a great sequel as well. The animation is magnificent, the characters from Lightning McQueen and Cruz Ramirez, and the rest of the gang are fantastic. The music by Randy Newman is nice, plus the story is very relatable, and it makes a great tribute to Paul Newman and Doc Hudson as well. If you guys were fans of the last two Cars films, or if you want to sit down and see something that's worth watching, then by all means, go see this movie. And I'm sure your kids will love it too. I give this film a 96% out of 100. Well, that's it for today, everybody. But before I go, let's see what Pixar is giving us next. Looks like it's going to be a late Halloween for Pixar, I think. Anyway, be sure to join me again for my next vlog, because next we're going to take a little trip to the Mystic Isles. Mustang Power!